Kingfisher Interpretive Center, Lesson 6, The Watershed.
Welcome to the Kingfisher Interpretive Center. My name is Molly. Today we're going to be exploring water and watersheds. Look what I have here. This is a model of the world. And if you look here, all this blue, what is that? Well, this is water, and all the green would then be land. What is our world mostly made out of? Water. Therefore, water is important for us, for animals, plants, and most importantly, today, fish. If we think about watersheds, what is a watershed? Watershed is a place where all the water comes together. If you can do this at home, put your hands up, put your wrists together and elbows together and make your own watershed. My fingers are, the tips of my fingers are the tops of mountains. Imagine these mountains have streams and rivers that run down, streams and creeks that run into here where my wrist and elbow is would be the main river. So we have all the streams from the mountains coming down into the main river to make a watershed. Now if we look at a map, we can also, this map is a bird's eye view. So if you're looking down onto, we can also look at a watershed. Now what I said before is a watershed has a boundary, and the boundary is the tops of the mountains. So here we have the top of the mountain. It's all white. It's maybe has snow on it. And here lower we have streams that flow down into this big lake we call Shuswap Lake. So if you lived in Salmon, you would live within what's called the Shuswap watershed. So we have our red, we've made this red boundary. This boundary is the boundary of the Shuswap watershed. So remember, the tops of the mountains, all this water is flowing down into the lake, making a watershed. Now look here, what if you live in, this one here is Vernon, would you be in the Shuswap watershed? No. If you see here, the tops of the mountains are flowing down this way, not this way. So on this side of our boundary, you will now become, if you live in Vernon, you will be in the Okanagan watershed. Why? Because this is Okanagan Lake. So boys and girls, what watershed do you live in? Would you like to come and explore a mini watershed? At Kingfisher, we have a special model of a watershed. Come with me. Welcome to Kingfisher's watershed model. As you can see, we have different areas in the watershed. Starting downstream, we have an island with the friend on there. We have the factory, little bridge. Here is the farming area. And then my favorite part is the park, or wild space. Have a look and see how many different wild animals you can find. Here is our little town. Now this town is small. It could be Enderby, and this could be the Shuswap River. But we have a little town. And that's all of the watershed model. First, I would like to introduce our two Chinook salmon. Now, we've named our salmon. The male salmon, his name is Sam, and the female, her name is Ella. Now, they have come from the ocean. How old do you think they might be? Well, typically, Chinook salmon spend 4 years in the ocean, so these two salmon are 4 years old. Now they're going to start swimming. They swam from the ocean, they're really tired. They're looking for a place to spawn. So let's swim, swim, Sam and Ella. Along the way though, they're watching out for dangers. Do you think they should swim this way? Ooh, maybe not. Do you see this bear? Oh, he already has a salmon, but he might be more hungry. Let's go this way. Swim, swim, swim. They're going to take a little rest for us to talk about the factory. Now this is a plastic factory. Now plastic, we have lots of plastic in our lives. Take a think and look around where you are, how much plastic there is. This plastic factory is built on the stream, and it's taking the water from the stream to make the plastic, and then unfortunately there's chemicals going into the stream. Have a look. Can you see the chemicals coming into the stream? Oh no, salmonella. Swim away. That's not good for fish. Before they continue on, have a think, how could we change this factory from not polluting the stream? There's a few ideas. One might be that, do we need to have the factory built beside the stream? Could we build it farther away? Another way that factories don't pollute is within the factory, they can take out those pollutants from the water. They can filter them out. And so when they put the water into the stream, there isn't any chemicals left. They could also reuse that water, so they're not taking too much water from the stream. Another thought is, do we need plastic? How could we reduce our plastic so we have less plastic factories? Well, salmonella are swimming upstream. Now, luckily, they are magic fish. They can jump bridges. So, but they need your help. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3, jump. Swim, 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 swim. Take a rest. Let's look at a few things here. Did you notice this oil tanker? Look at this oil tanker. That oil is going directly into the stream. Let's move them away. Now let's take a really good look at the two farms here. Now, can you see the difference between these two farms? Can you have a look? This farm has a fence all the way around, but do you see how this farm, the animals are allowed to go in the stream? Another thing to look at is between the farm and the stream, there's a bunch of trees growing, and there's lots of plants. This is called the riparian zone, and it helps to separate the stream from the farm. And why, I wonder why we would want to do that. Let's look at this cow. Now this cow's in the stream. What do cows like to do? Poo. Yes, cows poo a lot. And let's look, and when this cow poos, what happens? Oh no. That's not good for the fish. Take another look too. As this cow walks inside the stream, all kinds of sediment is coming in. It makes it all murky color. What happens is that sediment gets in the water and it makes it hard for fish to breathe. How do fish breathe? Remember, fish have gills, and that sediment gets caught inside their gills. It makes it very difficult. So any ideas what could this farm do that this farm is doing? What if we put the cow out of the stream, close the fence? Now that helps. Okay, salmonella, they're still looking for a place to spawn. They're swimming hard. They're they're still looking out for dangers. They're looking for a good place to spawn. Oh no, do you see the danger? Can you see the otter on the rock? Otters eat salmon. Keep swimming, salmonella. Ooh, they are having a hard time, but fish are strong. They can jump waterfalls. Chinook salmon can actually jump 1 meter high. So up you go. Great job, salmonella. Keep swimming. They're looking for a nice place that's not too sandy, not too rocky. This might be a good spot. This has some gravel and some bigger rocks. This would be a good spot to make their red. So what is a red? That's like the nest that the female, she'll dig out with her tail, and she'll lay the eggs. And then the male salmon, Sam, he'll come along and he'll put what's called milt, and the two will mix. That needs to happen really fast. So the female gives him a signal. You know what she does? She opens her mouth really wide. That shows him that it's time to put the milt, and they mix together, and then she'll use her tail to cover up the eggs to protect them. And so they've come up and they've spawned. Now what's going to happen with these two salmon? Well, they're going to die, but that's a really good thing for this ecosystem. Actually, that's food. Once they're dead, they can be food for other animals, and their nutrients actually help grow trees. And trees growing near salmon streams grow a lot taller and healthier. Earlier we talked about the riparian zone. Can you see this as a riparian zone? All the plants. Look at this side of the river and then look at the other side. See the difference? What happens if we have a big white cloud that comes down and rains on this side? Let's look. Okay, what happens, do you think, if we made that cloud rain on this side of the stream where there aren't any plants? What do you think might happen? Let's see. Oh dear, there goes more sediment downstream. Did you see the difference between the water on this side and this side? Why do you think that happened? Well, there aren't any trees there, and trees hold in the sediment. And when you take away the trees, there's nothing to hold up that silt. It just washes down, and there's a name for that. It's called erosion. So if you wanted this stream, this side of the stream, this bank, to stop erosion, what could you do? How about planting some trees? So trees help to hold in the soil. Let's have a look at our wild space and have a look. This is what we call a wetland. I wanted to introduce another animal. Here is Justin. Now Justin's a beaver, and beavers like to make dams. He's busy there making a dam. I want you to think, are dams, are beavers good for the ecosystem or not? What do you think? Well, actually, he's damming this up so the water's not flowing. You might think there should be more water, but if you look back here, he's making what's called a wetland. And beavers help to make wetlands. Wetlands are actually in decline and really important ecosystems for all these animals, for what lives in ponds. Frogs, turtles, and believe it or not, all kinds of bugs that then feed the salmon. It's all interconnected. So thank you, Justin, for making that dam. Now let's look a little bit at our town. Do you think our town has some impact on the watershed on the stream? In the town, there are what's called storm drains. And storm drains, they're really important because if there's a large storm, then they're going to make the water drain out, and they're not going to, your town will not be flooded. But you need to be careful and aware. You might see in your town fish painted on the storm drain. The reason is, for example, if this truck here was, they're cleaning the truck and some oil got drained down into the storm drain, let's see where that oil goes and ends up. And you see the oil going into the stream? That's maybe why this truck needs to be washing their car at a car wash. Or they need to just be really careful. You need to always think about what chemicals you're putting down outside on the street and where they're going, because they all go down into the river. So this watershed model is a great way for you to think how you affect salmon, whether you can, and that you can help salmon. Maybe you could plant trees. Think about what goes down the storm drains. All of the things we do in our watershed affect our salmon.